Hi, I'm Kylie, and this is Chaz, and he's just going to be joining me for our video presentation, on the Marshall Islands. Okay, I guess we'll just start. So I had Chaz look at my website, and he has a few questions.
Yes, I do. So what is this CMAP here?
Okay, so like the different C maps that I have on here, they're all different concept maps, and with them, they kind of combine all of these different ideas. So we would like watch a video or have a lecture, and then we would create a C map to connect all the different things with each other. And so it just made it so that we could relate things to other things that were all relevant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So the flat world, what does that mean? And like there's like different levels or something? What is all that?
Okay, well, so for example, the flat world is in essence that the world is flattening. And so a more developed country is very flat because they can communicate between other people, kind of thing. And so there are different levels where a 1.0 country would be where it's the country-led globalization, where it's going from large to medium. And so then it's countries exchanging ideas and goods with other countries, and so they're not very flat. And then there's the 2.0, which is like the Marshall Islands, where I'm adopted from. And that's where it's the globalization through companies instead of the countries now. And so it's now medium to small. And then it's the companies are working together with the other companies, and the companies can all communicate with each other. And then there is the 3.0, which is like the US. We're the most, like, one of the most developed countries.
The best.
Yeah, the best.
Cool.
And so with that, it's then individuals leading globalization. And then it's going from small to tiny, really, in essence, because then people can communicate with the other people all over more easily.
Okay. So what have you like learned from this website? Like, how's it benefited you in learning about the Marshall Islands?
I really think this website has helped me because I honestly began not knowing anything about the Marshall Islands, didn't even know they existed, and I was like, oh cool, I got adopted there. Awesome! And so I was able to learn about the Marshall Islands, but I think the website was focused on them, but really, in essence, it taught me about other countries elsewhere at the same time, because then I would look up things about other places, and we had videos and lectures on other places too. And so it gave me a general idea of knowing the world better and the cultures of other countries, other than just the Marshall Islands. It kind of taught me how to look up and find information about other places, and made me more curious about the other things that are going on like in the world, kind of thing. And so we talked about like different ways of helping other countries. That I know some people go and donate or volunteer, or there's like websites where you can just like give people money and it kind of is a loan, more like that. And so it's really helped me to benefit in that way.
Okay.
Great. I think another thing that we did a lot within the class is that we talked about the eight Millennium Development Goals.
Okay.
And so the United Nations actually created them, and they were mostly, in essence, to help the poorer countries become better and to improve their lifestyle between all of the people. And so there were 8 different goals that they had the idea of achieving by 2015. And so I guess we'll just go through some of them, all of them. Actually, we're going to go through all of them.
Sounds good.
And I will just let you know along the way, I'll explain what the goal is and then how the Marshall Islands is doing on it, kind of thing. Okay, so the first goal is to eradicate extreme poverty and hunger, kind of thing. And of course that, self-explanatory for the most part, my opinion.
Yeah.
Then the Marshall Islands, this goal isn't quite achieved, though they have been working really hard on it. That they have less people that are underweight, like less children. I mean, it is still high, so they definitely have a lot of room for improvement, but they are definitely doing a lot better on it than they were before. Like their GDP, like per capita, is
What's GDP?
Gross domestic product.
Cool.
Yeah. And okay, so that it's 3,556.3. And so, of course, there's room for improvement again. I'm sure there is for like most places. And then the second goal of the 8 goals is achieving universal primary education. And actually the Marshall Islands is really good at it. Their literacy rate is 94%, which is really high. I mean, of course it's higher here, but we're a lot more developed than the Marshall Islands. It has gone up, and then if they keep going up in the progress that they've been making after this goal was made, that they are a lot more likely of achieving it by 2015. Like, they will most likely hit this goal, they just haven't hit it yet for them. Okay. And our third goal is promoting gender equality and empowering women. And I think learning about this one was honestly like pretty legit, because of course I am a girl. So I just like knowing about this kind of thing, that we really learned about the idea that when you empower women, you're kind of empowering the country in and of itself. Because when you teach women and they understand and they are treated as equals, they then raise their children the same way. And so if you have a woman that's educated, then she will educate her children at the same time. She'll have children later in life, and they'll be healthier at the same time, and she will be more willing to take care of them, and she'll know how to take care of them. And so just having that really helps women in general, because it'll help then the country overall. With the Marshall Islands though, there is quite a bit of gender equality there, and they have like reached part of their target for the gender equality within this goal. They aren't completely reached there yet. There are still, some differences between the men and women, but for the most part it is equal there. Okay. And now for the fourth goal, which is reduce child mortality. Again, self-explanatory, but the goal was by 2015 they wanted to reduce child mortality by 2/3. And then with the Marshall Islands, they have 38 per 1,000 children under the age of 5 that are dying. And that was according to from 2009 to 2013. And the Marshall Islands is on track with this goal. Of course, they again aren't reaching it yet, but they will most likely reach it by 2015. They'll hit it. It is decreasing, and then they're also increasing the immunizations, so the kids aren't getting as sick and aren't dying from these different diseases because they are getting these shots and immunizations. Then goal 5 is improving maternal health, so to make it better for women when they are having children, and a lot of the time women get really sick and they aren't medicated during the first trimester of their pregnancy. Maybe part of it is because they just don't know that they're pregnant yet, but so they're not getting the help that they need, and they're not being able to get that help. And so that's why that goal was kind of put into place, was so women will have that extra effort to, and even make some political, what is that word? Okay, well, some governments, they actually make rules and stuff like that for so that women have to go and do these kind of things. And then, so according to the Marshall Islands though, there are 140 deaths per 1,000 live births with the maternal mortality rates, which is higher than it is for the children at that rate, but so definitely not good. They are also on track with this. I feel like the Marshall Islands is really on track for the majority of these goals in essence, but they haven't hit most of them or really any of them yet. But by 2015 they should have hit it. They are reducing their deaths, the mother's deaths, during labor and all this kind of stuff. And then they also have been working really hard with the teenagers, because they often get pregnant and then they are using contraceptives, so then everything is better, less children, fixing all these problems. Okay, and so now on to goal 6 is to combat HIV and AIDS, malaria, and other diseases, really in essence to make it so that people are healthier. With the Marshall Islands, they're really far from meeting this goal actually, and they have really high risk factors with HIV, and they don't have a whole lot of knowledge on HIV or AIDS, and so because of this they have a lot of cases of HIV and AIDS, just because people don't have that knowledge. They don't know what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing, and what's good and what how to fix problems and kind of things like this, so that you know, it just kind of creates more problems because no one has that basic knowledge or understanding of it. And then goal 7 is to ensure environmental sustainability. With the Marshall Islands, they've actually done a lot better with this, with having a sustainable environment. And they are improving their water sources and sanitary facilities, and then like their forest areas and all this kind of stuff, and having protected places. And so they still do have quite a bit of way before they'll achieve this goal, but they are definitely getting a lot better, and they are doing, you know, they're working hard for, at least they have gotten a lot better with their quality of drinking water and sanitation, which is very important for poorer countries, really, in essence, to just have that water that people can have, because, you know, it's kind of an important part of life.
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah, pretty important.
Pretty important,
And then there's goal 8, which is a global partnership for development. And with, part of it was the access to technology, because, sorry, let me fix that a little bit. With it, the Marshall Islands doesn't actually have a whole lot of technology there, and they don't have access to it, and there's not even a whole lot of data on their technology usage for that country, and so it's harder for them to really, you know, be globalized with other people, because, you know, without that technology, it's harder to communicate with other people around the world, kind of thing. Though overall, the Marshall Islands is doing better because of these goals, and they have been improving, and they have been working towards achieving these goals. Of course, there's still plenty of room for improvement, but they have been, you know, doing their part. And then, just to finish up real fast, just go over so for the goals with the Marshall Islands, they're doing really good. But of course, there's room for improvement.
So what do you think, like, the future holds for the Marshall Islands?
I feel like for the future for them, everything will keep improving and they'll get better progressively. They do need a little more work, and I think out of all of the goals, they will need the most work on the 8th goal, which is their access to technology kind of thing. And after they work on that, they'll be able to globalize with other people a lot better. But for me personally, I feel like that is, I mean, okay, so goal 8 is what they should work on the most, and that's where they need the most work. But again, how I mentioned with empowering women, I feel like that's where they should work. I personally think that's where they should work on. That's their goal. Because then when the women are educated, you know, it fixes a lot of the problems. And so the whole country kind of just builds itself up kind of thing. And then when they teach their kids, they grow up and become better and all this kind of stuff. And so then, you know, kids are kind of the future, really, in essence. And so if you empower the women, then they'll fix their children, and then their children are the future, and then everything will go just a lot better for their country overall. And so I feel like that is where they can improve the most, is with the goal 3, which is, you know, gender equality, to fix that. And then as long as, you know, they keep, you know, working hard towards all of these goals, I feel like they will achieve them. I mean, of course, they might not hit them all by 2015 like they were trying to, but they'll hit them eventually. They just need to keep working hard, and then they'll get there. They're on the right path. They just got to keep going and moving forward, kind of thing. And thanks for watching our video. That's the Marshall Islands. They're super great.